Yep, I was born ready, got bigger.
Welcome to Fading Suns, Thursday nights on the Ulysses International Twitch channel. I am JM, your GM. This is my crew for Fading Suns. Welcome. If you are not familiar with Fading Suns, we are starting a brand new arc tonight, so this is the perfect time to tune in. If you are, you've heard this spiel before, go get a drink, grab some chips, maybe flip over to another Twitch channel for like 2 minutes and then come back. So Fading Suns is a new role-playing game, or the new edition of this role-playing game is coming out. I believe the Pledge Manager may still be open at this point. It kickstarted successfully. It's going to be being sent out to backers here soon. Physical books later this year. It is a science fantasy role-playing game. It's set in the far future, but one of the design conceits the author kind of went with is that religion is not something that we're going to outgrow, but will be with us until the day all of the stars go out. And so this is a very medieval science fiction future. If you've seen things like Dune, even BattleTech has a little bit of this with the noble houses and the church, and like in all of these different things where basically technology reached its peak in the Second Republic and then all came crashing down. And so we're sort of living in this dark ages of technology in the far future. Space travel is dangerous and not necessarily quick. It uses jump gates to kind of get between worlds, and the jump routes are fixed. These aliens, long before humanity ever came on the scene, established these jump gates. And so you play as nobles and priests and yeomen and merchants, doing all of the things you would normally do in a role-playing game, but kind of set in this medieval science fiction future. We have just wrapped up the Annals of Antioch, where Father Bell, Brother Gabriel, Runner, Perpetua, and Hrothgar ended up on this lost world of Antioch. Jump gates can be closed, and lots of worlds were lost for various reasons. And somehow this jump gate got reactivated, and the group landed on this planet. It was controlled by this theocrat by the name of the Paladendrax. The group managed to not only get off the planet, but sort of start a little bit of a rebellion and reconnect it with the known worlds. And at the end of the Annals of Antioch, Hrothgar, played by Mark, headed back to his planet of Antioch to kind of aid in kind of the reintegration, while the rest of the group was like, listen, there's this cult of the abandoned, and we don't know anything about them, but they're trying to reach these creatures in the dark between stars. We are going to kind of track down the pirates that kind of set this whole mess up. And that's where we left off. And that's where we're going to pick up. We're going to pick up with the group hot on the trail of these pirates of the Raven's Blood, and what their connection is with the abandoned, what's going on. I'm going to reintroduce all of our characters, but we're going to start with, we've been teasing a special guest for several weeks. Mr. Bob Crumb is joining us here tonight. You are already familiar with Bob Crumb's work if you watch any of our stream games here, because he did the backgrounds and the frames for the Fading Suns game and the Tor game. Yeah, Richard, when you look up that astrolabe thing is right above your head. Yeah, you're grabbing it right now. Bob, welcome to Fading Suns. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. I come pretty highly recommended. I'm kidding, I don't. I'm friends with Jam.
Bob is good
and
friends.
Mark.
And
I know Mark really well.
We go back, and if you so Bob is an artist. I believe your commissions are open. Is that what? At least that's what it said on your Twitch stream. Bob, where can we find you on the internet if people are interested in, like, because you jump on almost every day and do Twitch art, right?
Yeah. Yep. So the initial place you can find me, I just typed into the chat. If you're in there, I'm Mr. Bob Crumb on Twitch. I get on about 10 o'clock every day, except for Mondays. I get on a little bit later because of a meeting. and do just art. Oftentimes, it's just variety stuff. Either I'm working on my own comic, or I'm doing emotes for somebody, or just speculative weird stuff because it's fun. So that's primarily what I do between 10 and noon Central every day. Otherwise, I'm on Instagram. I got MrBobCrumb.com to see kind of the more fine art and design stuff that I do. So yeah, if you have characters you want character art of, I can definitely do that. And right now, I could use a half dozen or so of those to keep me busy for a little bit.
Yeah. So, for those of you who are tuning in new, the rest of the crew, you can see their names, but I'm going to go around and introduce everybody, and we are just going to get started with this new arc, which we will reveal the name of. You probably see it in the chat already. I guess I might as well say it now. It is, this next arc is The Curse of the Abandoned. So, kind of occupying the top square of our Brady Bunch is Richard. You're still playing Brother Gabriel. Anything you wanna introduce yourself? You wanna say anything?
Yes, I am Brother Gabriel. I am a brother battle, which means that I am a priest, except that my main form of prayer, which I have since checked the rules, I'm actually canonically required to undertake several times a day, is punching things. So I punch things for the glory of the Pancrator, and I'm pretty good at that. I'm not very good at other things. We have Father Bell and everybody else for that.
Well, so Father Bell kind of sitting opposite Richard, and also kind of on the opposite spectrum of the church. You want to introduce yourself, Evan?
Yes. I'm Father Bellera, known as Father Bell, a member of an order of mystics and occultists, and I am an investigator into the dark. But I do it with the song of the Pancreator in my heart, and what is a bad man but the job of a good man, and so
kind of
that's the way I.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's the way I roll.
He is going to be the person who is breaking all of the rules in the favor of the PCs. Slight. It's not bitterness on my part. It's bitterness on the Game Master's part. Below Father Bell, we have Becca. Becca has been playing in the Fading Sun streams since we launched. Becca, you want to introduce yourself, your character?
Yeah, on this game, I play Runner. I am a Vorox, and a Vorox is a 10-foot tall, lupine-looking alien with 6 limbs, typically 2 feet 4 arms. And I am a bounty hunter. My name is Runner, and yeah, I'm faithful, I'm loyal, but we need to make some money, guys. This last trip left me a little bit in a hole, and I'm not okay with that.
Not a cool ship, though.
Did we?
I mean, it's a heresy ship.
We did get a pretty sweet ship, and then it got taken away from us.
That's true. Now, the last 2 members of our party, if you have been tuning in on Annals of Antioch, you already know. If you tune in on Tuesday nights for Torg, they're part of that group too. Mark and Lily, you guys want to introduce yourselves and your characters? We'll start with Lily
first.
Yeah. I play Perpetua. I am of the Order of St. Paulus. I am an explorer and not real great at shooting things, but I did make money on the last adventure because I provided the first known maps of the lost world of Antioch.
That is true. Completely opposite from her character Edith, who is really good at shooting things on Tuesday nights. And then Mark, you have you have a new character because Rothgar went to live on a farm back on Antioch. He's fine. He went to live with all of his other friends.
And that's what I will believe.
So who's your new character, Mark?
I'm now playing Aegon Akin, a mercenary who goes by the name of Cutter, and hopefully eventually learn kind of why he got that nickname. And I was kind of invited onto this entourage by Runner. We've in the past been going against pirates. They figured they need another gun on the team, so I'm there with duffel bag and foot ready to take my spot at the crew quarters.
All right. So we'll introduce Bob's character here in a bit, but we're gonna just jump right in. You guys have landed on New Phoenicia. New Phoenicia is a hollowed out asteroid that is used as the best historical analog is Tortuga. Excuse me. It is a pirate hold. It is a smuggling den. It is a, it is a wretched hive of scum and villainy. Now, Dorian Hawkwood provided passage for you because, again, as he went back to Antioch, he felt very strongly that you had to be funded, and if this was the goal of the church, as Father Bell and Brother Gabriel suggested, that he was 100% on board with kind of putting this together. Because if there is a cult of antinomists are those who are against the name of the Pancreator. They are sort of the cultists, the demon worshippers, the diabolists of the known worlds. Then it's up to you to kind of uproot them and maybe not deal with them yourself, but at least bring them to the eyes of the Inquisition. Now, he has told you that he has... It's not a friend. It's more of an acquaintance, but they sort of trade favors back and forth, and he cashed in a couple of them, and there's someone on the planet who was probably kind of your best way in to the into this new Phoenicia. So you stand outside a gaudy gambling den by the name of the Sow's Purse. The animation, the hard light animation, is of a machete kind of coming down and cutting the ear off of a pig, and then coins falling into the ear. And you know that you're here to see, and he did warn you, who I'm sending you after is not a member of House Hawkwood, that noble and venerable bloodline of mine. And he's a member of House Decados. Now, you all know that Decados doesn't just sound similar to decadent, but they sort of embrace that lifestyle. And you are here to find none other than a man by the name of Baron Stannis Decados.
Had to change my name, by the way.
Oh, did you? What's your name?
Alexi.
Alexi?
I don't want to die in the third season. I was told by Mark that I shouldn't. Alexi. Alexi Decados, yeah.
Baron Stannis Alexi Decados. And while he does not have any parties going on currently, Dorian said that he is known to frequent, maybe own, the Sow's Purse. And so there you are. He has hooked you up with Cutter, a replacement for nobody could replace Rothgar.
Oh, see.
But after what happened.
A new red shirt.
That's right. So, you have landed on New Phoenicia. It is again it's an asteroid that's sort of perpetually spinning. Ships kind of dock along the core axis, and the buildings kind of occupy the radial spots on this asteroid. So, the five of you stand outside this gambling den. You can hear lawless doesn't really begin to describe what you are seeing around you. You have seen at least 6 murders, 7 acts of public urination, as well as other just con games.
People standing up in movie theaters.
That's right. There is definitely
Dogs and cats.
people standing up in movie theaters, people throwing tomatoes at people. There was even, you're pretty sure you witnessed a kidnapping. Here you are. What do you do?
Did someone talk during the opera?
Never.
Father Bell, you are in the wrong place, buddy.
Not only that, but the opera was in English by an American composer.
Oh,
Just
oh.
I'm just wondering if Runner's like got a data pad and she's going through pictures to see if she sees any. Oh wait, that grab that. It's 100 Firebirds right there.
That's exactly what well, it's not. I have a think machine known as
Ooh.
a rogues gallery,
There you go.
and yeah, it definitely it was a gold mine, guys.
So, Runner, why don't you give me a perception plus observe roll to see what you notice? Now, in Fading Suns, it's a D20 game, but it is not a D20 system game. Basically, you have a rating and an attribute, and a rating and a skill, and you add those together, and that gives you your goal number. So, Runner, what is your perception and what is your observe at?
My perception is a 5. My observe is a 7.
Okay, so she needs a 12 or less on the D20 to succeed at this task. What did you get?
Or
Okay, so when you make a roll, that whatever you roll on the D20 converts to what are called victory points. And so Becca has 4 to spend. How many would you like to spend to sort of observe? Every 2 that you spend on this roll, Becca, will give you an additional piece of information.
with us going to a new arc, does any of our old VP carry over?
No, you are back at fresh start of act.
So does that mean 0, or does it mean our bank is at capacity?
Your bank is at 0, kind of starting off, kind of going into this.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I will go ahead and ask 4. I would like 2 solid pieces of information, plus whatever you're going to give me anyway.
You definitely notice 2 outstanding bounties. Boris Demos is wanted on most of the Hawkworld planets for smuggling, racketeering, and and murder.
Yeah.
And there is a woman that you recognize by the name of Jenna. At least that's the alias that pops up in your rogues gallery. She's wanted by House Hazat, and they don't tell you what she's wanted for. She just has a bounty of 250,000 Firebirds on her.
Okay, new
Wow.
plan, party.
Is that a lot, or is it like pesos? Where the
Or the zeros are meaningless. No.
I'm gonna lean over to Cutter, a sometime friend. Just kind of show him what there is, and I'm tell him keep an eye out.
For that one, right? And he points at Jenna.
Definitely for that one, but you see this Boris guy also.
Okay. He looks around.
All right.
So glad you're not noticeable.
Father Bell and Perpetua and Brother Gabriel, what are you doing while they're sort of looking at this?
Father Bell's not trying to touch anything.
It's probably a really good call.
So aside from vexing my righteous soul,
wow.
I'd like to take an open action to vex my righteous soul.
Yeah.
So we're here to pick up this Alexei Dekados guy.
You've been told that Alexei is basically the guy who can provide you ins with the pirates on New Phoenicia and kind of help you navigate New Phoenicia.
All right, I will just attempt to look inconspicuous in my battle armor and giant white tunic.
That's right.
I am more
Red
likely to
jumping
let
across.
you are.
Have you seen you?
And just keep an eye out for threats. I'm gonna kind of shadow Father Bell like the group bouncer, even though Runner's technically bigger than me.
Father Bell, Perpetua, you guys stand outside this den. What do you do?
I think that on our way here, I acquired as many maps of the area that we're going to as possible, and I'm assimilating them into my think machine.
Okay.
I love that it's called a think machine.
Father Bell.
I'm. I know that we're deep in the den of iniquity here, but I'm looking for anything that indicates a darker, layer of, anything that reflects, heresy, the antinomists,
Give me a faith plus observe roll.
Oh, you're
Well, he does that.
talking my
Alexei,
language.
is this just your favorite den? Do you own shares in this den? Kind of what's your tie with this gambling establishment?
This is like my den behind the purse, right? Because that's the place where all the urination is.
That's true.
So so I would like to be back here with somebody as a footstool, and then apparently my hand in my pants, but really it's on the weapon underneath my, so it's just imagine myself gambling the night away with other people's money because
that's just
I
what
can't
you
be
do.
out
So
to get my
this
own.
is really more of your home away from home.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is a home away from home. All right. Father Bell, what do you?
I succeeded with a 9 out of 16.
How much would you like to spend on that?
I would like to spend 6.
So, Father Bell, nothing stands out to you initially, but as you kind of look around, you do catch really old e-tags, right? Like the little scanners that you can use to just produce an image on a surface of something, of that gate symbol with that the guys had as tattoos. It looks like they're probably 3 or 4 weeks old, but they definitely do exist if you know what to look for.
Okay. All right, I'll be keeping an eye out for that. And otherwise, almost certainly staying close to Brother Gabriel.
All right. At this point, you see a couple of people sort of exit out of the sow's purse. 2 of them on their own ability, and 2 rather heavily thrown out onto the street. One hits the ground hard enough to kind of leave a little bit of a blood streak as these 2 Voroxes kind of they nod to you, Runner, and they go back inside as the bouncer. And it sounds like there is a party going on. There's the sound of just you can hear the electronic sounds of spinning wheels and roulette tables, and the sounds of people winning, more sounds of people losing, and the sounds of glasses clinking.
All right. So
Father Bell, it sounds like a party punctuated by occasional prayer.
For you, yes. I step over one of the guys who got thrown out and kind of turn back to the group and go, "Come on, we know who we're looking for, right?"
You have little images in the files that Dorian gave you.
What is? Do we have days of the week like normally, like days of the
Yep,
week?
you
or
have
just
normal days of the week.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's Friday night,
Okay. Thank you. That was my next question.
and
Gonna
the mood
push
is
open the
right.
door.
I go over to one of the bodies on the ground and lift up their head and check to see if it's one of the bounties that I was just showing.
It was not.
Check the other-
But you definitely see, like when you lift it up, several teeth are left on the pavement.
Gold teeth or just teeth?
Are greedy.
Mark, there is definitely a gold tooth.
Let's make bullets out of
I
it.
will notice the rest of the group looking at me aghast and just drop the head back into the mud.
Wrong game.
Bonk.
There are no ghasts.
No,
No,
this
okay,
is not
okay.
Minecraft.
All right, so runner's holding the door open.
I'd like it to be. Can I ask a boon?
Sure.
Okay, I'd like it to be Alexi Friday. This is the day where I hire Alexis, one per table. We all sit about. We all pretend to be Alexi, one per table.
So this is Spartacus night.
Ah, yes, I am Alexi. You are Alexi.
All right. As you enter, you can see that there's a small kind of cage right on the inside of the purse, and there's an Urban. And so, for those of you who are new to Fading Suns, there are several alien species. The are those who kind of came before, and they're the ones who built a lot of this ancient technology. And their descendants, they kind of split into two species. They are tall. They are very lithe. They have psionic abilities.
They're Minbari / space elves.
They're sort of space elves. Yes. I
That was
mean,
way better.
calling them Minbari is. I mean, that's very. I'm gonna have
I know.
to meditate on that for a while and see what Valen would say. One of them, there is a female Uroban kind of standing between the two Voroks. Welcome to the purse. What can I do for you?
We're here to meet someone.
Yes.
A Baron Alexi Ducados.
You are in luck, my Voroxian friend. For tonight, finding Alexi will be no issue for you. You might say
Okay.
that we are lousy with Alexi.
Did Darius Hawkwood give us a picture of this person?
Yeah, you definitely have a file.
Okay. Maybe not me, but the group does.
I will have to ask you to peace bond your weapons before stepping inside.
Sure.
She kind of reaches in and she pulls out. There are a series of little magnetic clips that have monofilament cords between them. They kind of bond weapons in holsters.
Okay.
What if you have a long gun?
She points to the cage and several, most classy places how they have like a coat check. This place definitely has a long arm check.
Can I keep the? I mean, that's most places in Texas, to be totally fair. I was in Waxahachie today. I don't know if anybody here knows where Waxahachie is, but
No.
that's a great town. Anyway, I got a pound of beef jerky, and I ate the whole thing in 30 minutes, and I have no regrets about anything. So,
For at least the next 25 minutes.
Which one is more unbelievable? Waxahachie is actually a name, or he ate all that jerky?
definitely the first thing. Okay. So, can I keep my wire blades, like have it under my?
Oh yeah,
my
your
robes?
wire blade has no actual blade to it, so it just looks like a hilt. You can keep that sequestered on your body.
Yeah, I just have it like in my sleeve or something.
Do you guys all either stow your long arms or?
Yeah, but as we go in, I hold up both of my fists and I say, "I don't think you have anything for these."
Both of the Voroxes kind of look at each other. She's like, oh, that is the first time I've heard that one.
Isn't he so cute?
Now, Alexi, you did get a transmission from Dorian. You guys have traded favors back and forth. The nobility, money doesn't really buy anything, right? You have, like, to sort of kind of put it out there, with the perks that Alexi has, your pocket cash is several orders of magnitude than most characters' starting cash. So the nobilities sort of trade in favors. And so Dorian has sent you this request saying, hey, I'm cashing in several of my favors. He kind of explains that he's got this group. They kind of side with the church. 3 of them can handle New Phoenicia. But they're going to be doing some investigating on New Phoenicia. They need a guide. They need someone who can actually get them in to see the people they need to. And he's willing to cash in 3 of his favors and owe you 2 if you're willing to sort of help with this. And he sends you little dossiers on each person. So you know they're going to sort of arrive today. You kind of know what they look like. It's really easy to pick out the Vorox and the... so they're not quite servants of that king who sits on the golden throne, half dead. They're not that big and bulky, brother battles, but they stand closer to 7 feet tall. They've gone through sort of like, they are the knights of the church.
Gabriel.
Yeah.
This is Gabriel.
Yeah, it's Gabriel.
Yeah. Okay.
So you hear someone yell, Alexi! And like 17 people stand up and everyone cheers.
Alexi! Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Just a cacophony. I want everyone to look as close to me like Elvis impersonators on this. In my area here, it's Alexi impersonators. So as close as possible. It's amazing.
So
I also stand and do that.
You see, as you walk in here, there's like 17 people who all look within like 6 degrees of the image that you guys have received. So what do you do as you enter into this cacophonous, gambleless, if I may use that as an adjective? I'm the GM. Hold on. Dice said I can.
Okay.
Mess.
Perhaps they're hard light holograms. If we hit the fake ones, they should disappear. What's a lot of
Slow your roll, Brother Gabriel.
Father Bell just used slow your roll. Everyone take a drink.
There'll be a time. There'll be a time and place.
So what are you guys doing? Like, what's the plan?
Do I notice who just called out for Alexi, or is that just not a thing? I mean, I want to be in my cups, but not.
No. So when they call out, you don't know who calls it, but you definitely see this group walk in, and you recognize Gabriel and Runner from the dossiers. And very quickly, your little friend kind of does the little not targeting reticle, right? But the takes a snap of Father Bell and identifies him and Perpetua. And Cutter kind of comes up with several aliases, but it seems to be in the picture that that you received.
Okay. Well, I don't think anybody would mind at my table if I shoot them away in favor of new gamblers that have just arrived. I hear that an easy mark are those who come from the church. So at least half this group should be.
Do you send someone over to?
I know that they're coming here.
Yeah. Do you send someone over?
Yeah, I'm going to send an envoy over because I can't be arsed to get up and take my hand out of my pants.
Right.
That's where the weapon. That's where the weapon is. Okay.
Right. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So I noticed that this guy's clearing a table.
Oh yeah. You notice.
Doesn't look like that's the guy.
Yeah, and you see him call someone over, and this guy like doesn't just bow, but sort of bends almost in half, and then kind of picks up the tray and runs over and comes up to you. Are you looking for a table? My Lord Alexi, the Baron Alexi requests your presence at his gambling table. He says
Sure.
that he knows that several of you are easy marks.
Sure.
It's my
What
first
game are
day.
we
Am I
playing?
doing this right?
You're fine.
Blessings upon you, friend.
We all speak the same language, right?
You
Even
all
the big
speak
Borax?
Earthish, but with a U.
Yes. Ooh.
Some of them also speak Latin, but that's more of a church thing.
Some of us also speak Varaxian, but
Some of you also speak Varaxian because that is your native tongue.
I'm sure some of us come across as very uneducated in our speech, being only a yeoman.
So you would be the uneducated one, is what we're saying? Or the
Yo,
big
unless it
Borax?
was up.
Oh. Well, it is up indeed. Come sit, friends, and pour drinks and do bones, borax things, and tell me how much money you're about to give me in this table, please. And that's
Is
and I
there-
wink, kind of like this is meant to be our talking time.
is there a place at the table where I could sit with my back to the wall?
Yes. So Alexi's table is kind of raised up on a little dais to kind of overlook all of the other gambling pits, but it is against a back wall that looks very strange. It almost looks as if, as you kind of step onto this platform, you do notice that there is a line that kind of cuts in a perfect half circle to the wall, and that extends up the wall and over. There have been Runner. You've seen things like this. You're pretty sure that this whole table can spin around into kind of a back room or a back, maybe an exit, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I would like to sit with my back to the wall.
All right.
Please, everyone sits with their back to the wall. Can I spin the thing around? We go back room.
Sure.
I'm done with
You
this.
sit down.
Alexi.
You sit down with your back to the wall, and everything sort of shifts everybody, and you are in this. It is a much posher area, and as soon as that wall kind of clicks into place, all of the ambient background noise is just gone. This room is soundproof.
And that's when the Barry White starts playing.
What was that, Richard?
I said, and that's when the Barry White starts playing.
Oh yes. No.
Nope. Gonna nip that one right out. All right. Runner, what were you gonna say?
I'd like to introduce myself.
Okay.
Baron Alexi, please call me Alexi. My friends call me Baron. You call me Alexi. So, I've been told that I have been made to give you interesting something here. So, guidance, friends, money. I own some people, some things. So, you are the chits being called.
I have so many questions about what you just said, but I'm just going to ignore them and let them roll.
Yes, well, see, my role here is to be the guy, to be the money, to be the interesting person and best looking of the group. So, here I am, owing things to people, to, you told me before that three things I owed to somebody, and I'm going to get 2 in return for kind of messing around with these guys and doing whatever they need for a while.
Yeah.
A little sightseeing, little maybe bounty hunting. I don't know. So this is by way of introducing myself. So please, Alexi. Is there a leader? Is there a voice? Is there a face to engage?
Go for it, Evan.
It's a silent group. Who is
Alexi. My name is Father Bell, Bellerophon Oligo. This is Brother Gabriel of the Battle Order. And these are my other friends, Runner, and Perpetua, and Cutter. And we are on the trail of a set of pirates who had a ship in their fleet called the Raven's Blood. And they did a job for another organization, a much darker and heretical organization. And so we are looking for connections to find this pirate group and see if we can get them to lead us back to another group.
I missed the middle part because you are so interesting. So
I see.
the New Phoenicia, all I hear is heresy, and it's actually enjoyable here. So let's get beyond our moral hangups and learn to enjoy one another. So the Raven's Blood, it was once called something very not so dour, but I do believe I know. And JM, do I get to know?
Go ahead
yes,
and
at
give
all.
me a.
I'm gonna roll a thing.
Give me a presence plus knavery roll.
Oh gosh, I didn't see knavery on this thing.
It's knavery with a K.
It's in alphabetical order.
Top of the right column in skills. I think you have a 6 in it.
Your people might say it knavery.
Knavery.
Knavery, knife, knigget.
I'm so sorry. I do not see this.
No, you got a.
Is it on the backside?
You got a perception of 9 and a knavery of 6. So you need a 15 or less.
So on a 20, 15
Yep.
or less, I can do this.
You got this.
There is no knavery. 7. So, okay.
All right, so Bob,
That's good.
This is So you have 7 victory points right now, and you can spend 4 of them to kind of recall what you know about the pirates of New Phoenicia, and then you would bank the other 3. So you would have 3 sort of to kind of hold on to for your next roll or for anything else you might need.
These are very arbitrary numbers, or
No. So
I'm sure
every
they're not. I'm sure they're not.
difficulties go up in 2, and so this to kind of pick out one pirate group out of the majority of them is going to cost you 4 points of the 7 you just generated. So you know that there is a group. There is a group here in New Phoenicia, and in fact, they own a large chunk of one of the well, it's all Spinward, isn't it? Not far from here, there's a large kind of complex. They're known as the Hisparians, and they're a pirate group that has most of the pirates here kind of abide by sort of a code while they're at least on New Phoenicia. The Hisparians have been known to, they've been sanctioned 12 times in the last month and a half. They don't care. They tend to be a very violent group. They also tend to be a group that is more into that. Well, let's just say the docks on the outside of New Phoenicia, there are cutter shops. The Hisparians provide the most ships to these shops to be, torn apart, their pieces sent all over the known worlds. So yeah, you know for a fact that the Raven's Blood was one of the Hisparian ships. You also know that they've been sanctioned, like I said, 12 times in the last month. And no one, they sort of locked down their facility, and no one's really heard from them in about the last 7 to 10 days. Like, everything's kind of gone dark, if you will.
Okay. All right. Hisparians. Difficult to say. Raven's Blood is in with this group of Hisparians, these pirates. These actually not a whole lot of fun. When you meet them, you will see what I mean. They are hideous in the cutting up of vessels to send. I almost said vessels. Vessels to send to all of these systems around. So the Raven's Blood. It was not always called Raven's Blood. It was something much less dour, but it is there. Trust me, it is there. I know it's there. Hisparians. Got me?
and they haven't been heard from recently. Is that
Oh, I
what I
remember that.
somehow heard in the air? No.
Have they not been heard from recently?
They,
'Cause
yeah,
I'm feeling-
they haven't been heard from
I
for
missed
about a
that part.
week.
The whole
Yeah.
middle part.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
they haven't been heard from for about a week.
Oh yeah. So sanctioned a dozen times, and I thought that maybe that was part of it. Okay.
Now, Perpetua, when he mentions the Hisparians, your think machine automatically kicks in because you have a map of New Phoenicia. It's not a super accurate map. You're kind of disappointed. Whatever explorer has been smuggling maps out of this place should be shot. But your think machine has taken about 20 different, like, very localized maps and sort of placed them in relative relationship to each other. So you think you've got about 60% of this place, it's the interior of an asteroid. You've got about 60% of the surface area that you could find. And right on the edges of one of the gray areas, there's a large chunk that is clearly labeled like the Hisparians. It's not really a district, it's just the area that they put, like, that they claim as theirs.
And how far is it from where we are right now?
You could get there in about, you could get there walking in about an hour, but you guys noticed a bunch of air cars. We shall call them flitters. That you can kind of take in these little, like, arcs. Now, because it's an asteroid that's spinning and most of the ships dock along the core, there is a no-fly zone sort of to prevent,
Collisions.
Yeah.
Are we just doing onomatopoeia now? Is it the rest of the
the rest of the
entire
session it can only be done in onomatopoeia.
Very
Do
difficult.
not take that as a
Very
challenge, Richard.
Smack. Smack.
All right.
All right, and Runner,
I would, before I forget, I send one of the weapons to be brought around because my friends and their weapons belong here.
oh,
And they're cleaned. I cleaned the weapons from the grime that can be taken off. It's some of the grime, I'm sure Aegon's grime, can't be taken. Cannot be removed.
that grime has been
Cannot be-
worked into the leather.
Never clean another man's gun.
Yeah,
That's patina.
that's what it is.
Runner, your rogues gallery also lets you know that Boris Damon is.
Boris.
I
Boris.
just totally butchered that name. He is a member of the Hisparians. Like he is one of their captains, right? Because they say they have a fleet. He is the captain of a small raider that kind of operates within 2 to 3 jumps. So to get to New Phoenicia, you might be sitting there going, JM, why doesn't the known worlds, why doesn't the noble houses just come down and crush this place? Well, 2 reasons. One, everyone uses smugglers. And if they say they don't, that's just because the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. The other reason is you guys had to take a night road to get here. And what a night road is it is like a lost jump gate code that is only used by, it's essentially an override code to the jump gate to get it to go somewhere that it shouldn't. And so if you don't have the night code, you can't use the road to get here.
But they used it to get here.
Dorian
Someone
was nondescript
Oh, I thought-
on how he got access to the code.
Cool.
Friend Alexi, there's a. I do have a concern, and since you are being so helpful, the Hisparians have been involved.
Tell me how helpful. No, I'm kidding.
With a group called the Cult of the Abandoned. And if they've been locked down for the last 7 to 10 days with no one coming out, that could be an indication that Well, let's just say the last time we encountered some Hisparians and some of the cult of the abandoned, all of the Hisparians were dead, and most of them had been used as sacrifices to worship a particularly nasty creature from the dark between the stars.
Oh, and I bonk the brother Gabriel in the arm. Well, this one sees heresy around every. Oh no, he's serious. Okay, so you're serious. Well, I cannot allow this to happen on. Well, let's just go do something about it. This sounds like an adventure. I'm certain you'll protect me. You'll protect me. Is it Night N-I-G-H-T or K-N-I-G-H-T? Just want to know. I'm dying to know. Night Road.
Oh, it's Night Road, N-I-G-H-T.
Thank you. Okay, not bothering me. Go. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So I'm going to pull out one of the silvers that I got from Antioch and kind of toss it to Alexi.
One of the
and
coins.
One of the coins, because it's not something he would have seen ever. And just say they're heading towards, or they opened the jump gate to this new world, old world. So I'm sure if we infiltrate deep enough, we'll figure out how to get back. Or to other new places.
What has she given me? Help me. I'm sorry.
She gave you a large
A silver
silver
coin.
coin.
Okay,
So
but I have like 80 million of these.
No. You've never seen one like this before.
I've never seen. It's beautiful.
Now the other
How
thing is,
do I-
so Firebirds are sort of this kind of mixture between digital and hard currency. That's what the currency of this is. Your guess is that this is probably worth 20 to 30 Firebirds, just one of these coins.
Okay. So I'm impressed. And what am I meant to do? I'm so sorry. I missed what the point of this was. I feel the gravity in and out of character, but I don't know what I'm meant to do.
She's trying to get you to be interested in going to visit the Hisparians.
No, I was interested prior to this, but now I'm almost religiously so, Father Bell. Interesting.
Yes. Yeah, no.
We
I'm
might
aware-
have to have a talk about religion, but that can wait.
All right, what were you going to say,
We're
Runner?
also with that.
I was going to say, I'm aware he's like, okay, sure, let's go. This is a lark. And I'm going, it's a bit
Oh,
more than a
it's-
lark.
I see. So it's supposed to give me that gravity. Okay, yeah, gotcha. So
There's money involved.
and heresy.
Money and heresy. All of
So-
our needs combined.
That's right.
Let's go punch the heretics until money falls out.
You throw in like an undiscovered location on this map, and basically everyone is happy. There are heretics, there's money, there's exploration, a little debauchery.
Goes a long way. Okay, do I know enough to start planning this? Should I lean on somebody else's expertise?
Well, so
'Cause-
Runner right now has at least one lead. You know the area that you could be going to, Bob. Again, right? Nobody's been heard from. It's not like the Hisparians have this locked down militant compound. It's just like a city block that they sort of claim as their own, as if they were like a gang. You know, they do protection rackets. This is where their warehouses are. This is where their bars, their barracks, kind of, where their living quarters are. When their ships are in port, this is their section of town.
Okay. Well, I know about the area. Boris, not only does he owe me money, but he is a filthy, cheating duelist, and I am waiting to take out my vengeance. And so I say, I know about where to go. While I lack the tactical, I'm a duelist. You understand? I am filthy rich. I am drop dead gorgeous. and the duelist, but I am not a tactician. So I show you the way. Who shall we give lead?
Well,
I don't know if anybody normally takes lead on this kind of thing.
first question. Father Bell, how attached to your holy vestments are you? And Brother Gabriel, same question.
Oh.
Because if we're going to walk through the pirate's lair,
I can. I could probably furnish something new, huh?
You do have all
Probably
those
spend-
extra sets of like formal dress clothing.
What about it?
You have 3
What?
extra sets
Oh.
of dress clothing. You also have 6,000 Firebirds on hand. Like that's
I was
just
gonna say.
it's just on hand.
Can we just whip up some new clothes? He's gonna have to ditch the big armor. I'm certain he'll just draw more attention. Unless we're just gonna go in loud.
Is there a way we can observe the area without going into it first?
Oh yeah, you can Perpetua, your think machine kind of pulls up at least several different vantage points.
Think machine.
Yeah, so while Father Bell and Brother Gabriel are being convinced to go in incognito, maybe Cutter and I will go scout.
Runner, this is in essence a bounty hunter led expedition. So I will follow Runner's lead and follow a montage of a series of inappropriate clothing that Father Bell goes through until finally setting something that everyone can live with.
It took several iterations before all of the rhinestones kind of got out of the rotation.
I was gonna say this is where we find out that Father Bell just owns a ton of pimp clothing. Why?
All right, so Runner, it sounds like most people are looking to you to lead this this arc. So we've got Father Bell is getting new clothes, possibly Brother Gabriel. Now your armor, is part of you, like not like literally part of you. You could, if you wanted to, wear robes over it, not have the vestments on.
I'll just wear like a very dark black or brown robe over my normal stuff, but I'm not.
You're who you are.
keep your armor. That's important. That keeps you alive.
All right, Runner, what's the plan?
I'm definitely with Perpetua in that we should go and scout first. Is there any other place that we know this Boris visits? Because I have a new perk I'm ready to try.
What's that?
Uh-oh.
Called Bloodhound.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It is a good one.
Becca,
No idea.
for those in the audience, not me, of course, but for those in the audience who don't know what Bloodhound does, would you like to share it?
Oh, sure. I'll share it with the audience.
Yeah.
Right. Takes notes.
Essentially, once you are on someone as a bounty hunter, you don't let go. And so when you find a location where your quarry has frequented, you can spend time searching for traces, 10 minutes to an hour, and it will yield clues, such as an address, a photo, the bartender knows something. You know the current location of your target. If they leave the planet, you only have a rough idea.
Okay. Well,
I mean, we've got a pretty good idea that he's here or at the Hisparian place, but I'm wondering if there are any other clues or anyone else who could help us get in without walking.
if you're going to send Cutter and Perpetua to scout the location, you're between you and Alexi you could definitely do some asking around and figure out where he puts down roots while he's here.
Okay.
Or however you want to split it up.
Yeah. Yeah, if Perpetua and Cutter want to go scout around, does Alexi have a way to get us in?
I have ways to get, yes, in and out of character. I bet you I can do it. Whether the noblesse oblige, however you say it, or it's called schmooze. Either way, I'm certain we can get you in. We got to get near the gate. So I will. I don't know if I'm super willing to just hang in the background as my character would, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. There's a gate. There's a gate. No.
Sure.
No.
There's a gate
okay.
to
gate.
At least the it's sort of a near their warehouses, so kind of a little bit into their area. They do have a military style kind of, like, their warehouses are under lock and, like, it's a gated community, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So, as I understand it, we've got Cutter and Perpetua. Is anyone else going with them to scout out the area?
It's not a thing I would do.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right. Where are the rest of you? You guys are looking to find where Boris sort of rests his head.
That's what I'm looking for. Does Alexi need time to get us access? Or can he just walk up and it's fine?
Once you find out where he's at, Schmooze allows Alexi to basically gather gossip. And he attracts rumors and knowledge of scandals from everyone who tries to keep it a secret. So if you can get in the same area between Bloodhound and Schmooze, you should gather a cornucopia of information on Boris.
Is that like plethora?
It's more than a plethora. It actually goes.
It's like three plethora.
It's like three plethora to a cornucopia, and 3 cornucopia to a myriad.
Well, where's the butt ton? Somewhere in there. There's a
butt ton's just there's a different scale. Yeah.
It's meaningless to talk about something that big. Okay.
See, butt ton is what they use in Europe. Actually,
it's a metric butt ton. Yeah, no,
yeah, it's metric.
Yeah, that's definitely metric.
I've been lied to.
Yes. As we all know, none of us know how to use the metric system. So, all right. So we're going to start with Cutter and Perpetua, and then we're going to kind of flip over to Runner. Father Bell, Brother Gabriel, are you going with Runner and Alexi then in your kind of nondescript outfits?
Yeah.
Sure. Before Perpetua and Cutter go off, I would offer, even though it didn't work out the first time that I offered this, I offer the blessing of the Pancreator to Perpetua for her scouting. I've gotten better at this.
But wait, I've gotten better at it.
I'm ready.
If she'll allow me, I trace the sign of the jump break cross. Quick prayer to the Pancreator, and indeed I do succeed. 14 out of 18, and I will spend 4 victory points so that during her scouting mission to find out information about the Hisparians, that she can roll favorably until she succeeds once.
Just once.
Now,
once. Then it's over.
So just Bob, you're new to the system. We may have new viewers. Favorable and unfavorable rolls are where you will take 2 d20 and you roll both of them. You get to pick, in favorable cases, you get to pick the better of the 2. So if one fails and one succeeds, you can take the success. If both succeeds and one rolls higher than the other, you can take that one. Unfavorable is a little bit more nebulous. I get to decide which one you pick. Usually, if one fails, that's the one I'm going to pick. If both succeed, I'm going to pick the lower one, so you get less victory points out of it. So Perpetua, you will have a favor. You get to roll favorably until you succeed. So, all right. Now you guys all have squawkers, as we've established before, so you are able to communicate with each other.
I have a special squawker.
I feel
Sure
like
you
I need to
do.
ask you what's so special about your squawker. I also feel like I may be walking into a trap.
It's a military. No, it's a military grade, planet-wide, +1 AU interstellar. So it can talk for miles.
Awesome. Well, I mean, if it can go 1 AU,
That was my thing as a mercenary. You get a military squawker, not like a blessed blade or anything like that. I get a big heavy radio to hump around.
So here's it goes like Brother Gabriel got a blessed blade, you got a military squawker, Bob got 3 extra sets of like masquerade ball clothing.
Yep. One of which is gender fluid. I can just make it go back and forth. It's wonderful. Okay.
All right, so Cutter, you and Perpetua head off into the Hisparian district. Perpetua, you know the way. Like your think machine is, like turn left, make a U-turn, get out and walk 500 feet across this drainage. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's not Apple Maps. It's a think machine. So it's even. Very soon you start to see. You both start to notice there's some change. The area here actually looks a little bit nicer. It's not like affluent, it's just better maintained. Whereas some of the parts of New Phoenicia definitely look like they've seen better days. And by better days, I mean, you've walked through some areas that definitely look like there might have been a small localized military conflict. This place has like starship hulls that are propping up, like have been welded into buildings to kind of reinforce them, and new ferrocrete that has been laid to kind of provide berms and barriers. There are also statues of saints, but they look like they've been sort of taken, like none of them look like they were placed here on purpose. They look like they've been sort of placed here, like taken from other locations within the known worlds, and they all seem to, like, there are definitely ones that are like ship-sized shrines, like the one that brother Gabriel maintained on Cassius's blade. All of them also look to be they're all wearing like a lot of like rouge, and some of them have been painted. They definitely look like they're more on display as opposed to like reverently kind of on display. I would like both of you to give me perception plus observe rolls.
Both of who?
Cutter and Perpetua. And then we're going to jump over to you guys sort of after this.
I succeed with a 13.
Okay. And Cutter?
I'm so glad we're out here by ourselves, just the two of us, as I roll a nat 20.
Okay, so natural...
I'm also pleased.
So here's how this goes down. In Fading Suns, whatever your goal roll is, right? Your goal roll is defined by your characteristic plus your attribute, or plus your skill. So Perpetua, what did you need?
A 14.
So if Perpetua had rolled a 14, that's a critical hit. That's like the best possible thing that you can roll. You overcome all resistances. You get a weird point, which is, we'll get into those when somebody gets one. But a 20 is always a complication. It's not a critical fumble or a failure. Something happens narratively that goes wrong for the group, like kind of a fail forward, sort of a spectacularly wrong sorted way of doing things. So Perpetua, what you notice as you kind of come through here, you see a lot more. There are these tags that are sort of like a quarter arcing line of like blue and white, and then what looks like a shooting star kind of coming, kind of bisecting that arc. Those seem to be everywhere, just everywhere. But how much do you want to spend on this roll? So again, perception rolls tend to be graduated in the fact that the more that you spend, the more information you'll get.
I will spend 6.
All right. You definitely see more of those gate-like tattoos marking on the walls. They seem to be far more prominently displayed. They all seem to be displayed on the bases of these repossessed saints, as if the ferrocrete that's sort of the pedestals that these sit on, they have been like marked with this symbol. You also notice that you are being followed. You're being followed by a pair of...
Pears are easy. They're not dangerous. Apples, forget it.
Oh, God.
Hey,
See what you did there.
Pineapple.
but what we all learned is that when things go pear-shaped,
Yeah.
that's not good. There are two people who are following you. And in fact, one of them calls out and says, Aegon, you leech on the underside of society. I knew I recognized you, and I told you, if I ever saw you again, I would cut you from ear to ear and watch you grin as you die.
Do I recognize the voice?
You definitely recognize the voice.
Mom?
Salatori is another mercenary that you have encountered before. You know him, from a job that you got paid better to, you know how sometimes mercenary works goes. You show up, you look really impressive for the nobles, and nothing bad really is supposed to happen, right? You're just supposed to be there. It's sort of the easy life for the mercenary. Then there are those jobs where when you take the contract, you know there's only one way out, and that's through the meat grinder. Well, you and Salatori had this sweet deal a couple of years back. Your captain would take jobs for one side of a noble house dispute. Salatori would take jobs for the other side of the noble house dispute, and you would put on a spectacular show for the nobles. Till that time,
It was a sweet deal.
Until that time, you got paid to ensure that the other guy didn't just get a show, and Salatori's men were almost all killed to a man. This guy, it would not be far to say that this is a nemesis of yours. And as you turn around to see him, you can see his dueling knives strapped at his hips, shotgun slung across his back, and he is wearing a new magnetic symbol attached to his armor, and it is of that kind of half arc with the shooting star bisecting it.
That have been on all the statues.
That have been just everywhere. Like, as soon as you crossed into Hisparian territory, this was everywhere. We'll come back to you guys in a second. So, between Alexi and Runner, Father Gabriel, this suit, you don't know who this was made for. It just doesn't fit right. You've been told many times that it is the current style. It does not fit like Thurgist robes. It's not as loose and free. But Alexi and Runner, between Alexi's knowledge of New Phoenicia and Runner's Rogues Gallery, there's really one place that comes up as Boris's haunt. And that is a bar by the name of the Evening Star.
Cool.
Okay. It's relatively tame.
Is that
I was,
just
I was expecting so much more out of it.
All right.
So Evening Star. Ooh, it's they know me, but they don't know me as Alexi. I would like to be well talked up in the area because I can schmooze. I can choose how I am talked up, right? Because it says I can be talked up.
It does say you can be talked up.
Yeah, I would like to be known as a non-noble. I would like to be known as an actual mercenary myself. I'd like to be known as a hired gun, specifically to take the place of duelists as a second. Let's just say that butts his way into first.
What is your disguise known as?
Now it's Stannis.
Now it's Stannis, so you're guaranteed to die now.
Yeah, guaranteed that this persona will die. Wait. Am I really going to die, or is it going to be the persona?
I don't know, Bob. We'll have to see if you're a special guest next week.
If it were Tor, it would be both.
This could be like Harmon Quest, where the special guest dies at the end of the session.
Every dang time.
All right. So, Gabriel, you are in sort of nondescript robes. Belle, you are in. What is Father Bell like? What did they dress you up in Father Bell? Like in your mind, what is this disguise that you are wearing?
He's a flamenco dancer.
No.
His name is Lola.
I mean, no. I mean, we're in a pirate. I mean, it's a kind of a piratey, but off the ship, it's not. It's more ostentatious, but not. Hey, probably a ruffled shirt. And yeah, too tight pants, and
so
too tight or just
you're,
right?
You're dressed like a holovid version of a member, like a frequenter of New Phoenicia.
That's right.
All right. So
it's not good, but,
All I'm saying is I want a before and after art piece of Father Bell. All right, so and then Alexi, you are dressed, I assume, in sort of like more mercenary, kind of drabber.
Yeah, I'm just gonna push all my hair forward, and it's unrecognizable. As soon as I mess up my coiffure, cannot tell.
Who is this?
Sorry.
Who is this man?
Runner, this is the group that you have led to the Evening Star.
There's so many moments in Runner's life where she sees if she had made a different choice, her life would be in a different direction.
Albuquerque.
This is one job that the Bounty Hunter Guild will never hear about.
No.
Listen.
No.
Like, Boris is worth 80,000 credits to House Hawkwood, or 80,000 Firebirds, so you probably want them to know. Just maybe not the details.
Is he worth 80,000 alive or dead?
Oh.
Matters.
Call it even
Doesn't
or
matter.
odd.
It really does. Even.
What is Runner's preferred way to take in bounties?
Her preferred way is alive.
Then it is alive. He is wanted for questioning on several of those kidnappings.
Okay.
You had the option.
My desire.
That is what you chose.
My desire, Runner, is to be your second. Just let you take the lead, and I'm going to be the one who is supporting you as the mercenary second to duelist. I'm just saying. That's why I was going with this whole thing. I follow you.
If Stannis tells Runner that, Runner's definitely gonna look him up and down and be like, "That's good choice."
Yeah. Well,
so
I don't know much about dueling.
The Evening Star is this kind of spherical building, kind of squat, actually shorter than you would kind of expect, like compared to the other buildings around it. But you can definitely tell looking through what seems to be a recently broken window that it sort of descends down into, not really into the ground, but into the rock of the the asteroid. So you would kind of walk in and immediately take some stairs down.
Okay.
It looks fairly open, and Runner, Alexi, Gabriel, and Bell, as you kind of get there, you definitely see the telltale flash of a las pistol going off inside the bar.
Oh,
That guy probably shot first.
right.
At least until the
Right.
Keymaster.
Oh, not bitter, not bitter.
Not better at all.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
See, I can make Star Wars jokes, Bob.
Yeah, thanks. You had to spell it out.
All right. We head in.
All right, as you kind of head in, you can see that at the center of the area is definitely a large circular bar, and it seems to be bringing drink and prepared meals up from somewhere further below. Most of the tables are arranged sort of in a haphazard, chaotic fashion. Father Bell, if you were a Thurgist, which you are, you would almost say that these tables are kind of placed this way, maybe on purpose. There's just something in the back of your mind that it kind of makes the hairs on the back of your neck sort of stand up. You can see that the bar is occupied by 4 automatons and one person who is definitely at least half alive. It is a rather large Vorox, but missing the lower, definitely the lower legs and one of the kind of the middle limbs. So it only has 3 arms. It is sitting on a silver, like this silver disc that's kind of has been mounted to it, and it can move along the inside of the bar. The Vorox can, and you can see that kind of standing at one place of the bar. There's like a set of spindly legs that are just kind of laying against the bar. The place is filled, probably 24 people. Runner, Gabriel, you are people of violence. These are people of violence as well.
Excellent.
Well, I like the cut of that man's jib.
Don't start anything you can't finish.
The Vorox kind of, and he says in Voroxian, a fellow packmate, what brings you here to this crap hole?
Information. Although it also looks like you have food and drink.
I have what barely qualifies as both.
Well, then something for my friends.
The Vorox nods and sets down 1, 2, 3 mugs, and one of the automatons kind of comes up, and its arm folds back, and the spout appears out of its arm or its elbow, and it kind of starts pumping its arm, and it kind of puts this iridescent blue liquid and sloshes it into the cups, and then kind of pushes it towards the 3 of you. Welcome to the Evening Star. I'm Decker. Any friend of a Vorox is a friend of mine. You shut up. And he points at like one of the guys who's sort of like been sleeping on the bar, kind of lifts his head and then kind of sheepishly puts it down. You look familiar. Did I bet on you in a fight? And he points to you, Gabriel. Did you do did you experience any time in the blooded boxing circuit?
No, you must have me mistaken for someone else.
It's your chance to be.
Well, you look just like him, and if you ever want to make some Firebirds,
Punchy punch.
I know a guy who would put you in the ring 6 minutes from now.
Yes.
I appreciate that. Typically, though, I prefer to pray alone.
So
Says Alexi /Stannis. All right, well, what can I do for you?
We're looking for Boris.
Which one? Boris the Hammer?
No, you're looking.
Boris the
Demos.
Mac? Boris Demos. I mean, listen, I'd love to tell you what I know, but the Hisparians, they keep the place open, they keep the place full. Boris is not a nice man. He's not a nice man.
Understood.
One of that automaton that poured your drink is now just spilling alcohol on the floor. It has been unable to stop. And Decker kind of smacks it. And with percussive maintenance, the thing kind of retracts its arm.
If that goes on for more than 4 hours, you should really see a mechanic.
Mechanic. Yes.
He kind of takes your mug away from you and pulls out a bottle and fills a smaller glass with something else. What do you want to know about Boris? Like, this is going to have to be a quid pro quo thing.
Does Boris compete? I didn't know if we knew that already.
He kind of looks. Boris competed years ago. He hasn't been in the ring ever since he, well, I mean, he's captain of the Hawk because he won it in a fight. Went far beyond what any sense of propriety would have even allowed in the blooded fights. And the captain of the Hawk was unable to resume his duties. Let me just ask you this. Is violence what you intend to do to Boris?
Yes.
What do you want to know?
We need to get into the Hisparians' quarter, find him, and retrieve him.
Boris isn't in the Hisparian quarter right now. He kind of reaches out from under the bar and sets a little box. In fact, I know where Boris happens to be right now. If one of you, and it starts, the box starts making these kind of clicking noises. If one of you were to promise that Boris wouldn't be able to walk out of here under his own power, and it spits out a little golden card, I could show you where he's at right now.
Pretty certain.
You can make it so he doesn't walk at all. Just saying. That's what I'm not
We
taking
can pray with him if need be.
The disc kind of rotates around, carrying Decker kind of in a fast clip over to where those kind of spindly legs are, and you see they kind of attach themselves to the legs, and he kind of drops a little bit and rights himself, and he turns around and he's like, I can't leave them in charge for very long.
That's marvelous.
And so as he kind of scuttles off towards the back, you can see that there's actually like a ramp that sort of heads down in an arc around the back. And as you head down, there are pictures of like former blooded boxing champions. You can see that Decker takes up like 4 in a row. Boris. Then there's this bald guy, and it just says Gregor the Fist. And eventually you get led into these. He's very handsome. You get led into this corridor that has just doors with lights over them, and some of the lights are amber. Several of the lights are green. And 2 of the lights are flashing red. And he kind of takes you down on the left-hand corridor. He's like, when you go in, there's an atrium. Boris has 4 men with him. Beyond that, that's where Boris is going to be. His time's nearly up.
Oh, let's go.
We have an accord.
Oh, yes.
You hear a combination of a squeal and a cry of joy, and Decker goes, I know, they're just pouring him drinks. I'll be right back. And he kind of like turns fast enough that like 3 of his legs kind of go up on the wall, and he starts like click, 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 back up towards the bar. So
Cool.
that is where the 4 of you are outside this door. Yes, Runner.
I am planning then to squawk over to Perpetua and Cutter and tell them, we found Boris. How fast can you get to the Evening Star?
Meanwhile, over with Perpetua and Cutter, I will let you know when Runner's squawk comes in.
So I only see 2 of them.
You just see 2 of them.
Do my spider senses tell me that there's more, just from my tactical experience? I have no special.
Okay, I was like,
senses.
as this is the
Yes,
first time.
Spider sense.
That's right. Like, as this is the very first time your character has appeared on stream, I'm going to need to know if you're just making a pop culture reference or if you actually have a perk.
Pop culture reference.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have heat vision.
Oh.
Just trying to see
I
if it
have
works.
3 pairs of balls closed.
I can. Bob's
Really
not
nice.
going to let that one go.
And about how far away are the 2 that are talking to us?
The 2 that are talking to you kind of came out of an alley. They're maybe 10 meters from you.
Okay.
You rolled a natural 20 there. Cutter. So all of these buildings, they could all be filled with Salvatori's men. All of them. You could be surrounded. He told you last time to expect him when you least expected him, and this was the moment that you least expected him.
Is that true?
I don't know who you are, but I'm about to take a pound of flesh out of this one.
Gross.
I see once again you have chosen the wrong side.
He kind of brings
I
his
ask
shotgun
very
up.
quietly. Do you really want to fight, or do you want me to get us out of here?
Is that what you asked Cutter?
Yeah, quietly.
No, we need to run now.
Okay, great. Follow me.
All right, so no showing, no preamble, no clever banter. Perpetua, you just grab Cutter and you go running. All right, so what I would like from you is
She knows the way.
And running roll.
is either wits plus perception and wits or perception and survival. Now this will be favorable,
Perpetual, right?
because you are using your think machine and your maps. While this is going on, Cutter, I want you to give me one more perception plus observe roll.
I mean, I've got 14 in the skill. It's just, there we go. 6 out of 14.
How much would
And I
you
will
like?
spend all 6.
You're gonna spend all 6?
Yeah.
All right. So, Perpetual, what did you get? Because you definitely hear. Wait, what? After him.
So I did not spend all of my VP last time.
Okay.
So I'm going to spend 3 to raise it to 15.
All right. So that's it. If I may explain real quick. So if you don't end up spending all of your VP that you generate on a roll, you can put up to 10, or some of you maybe at 15, depending on how you took your advancement, into your bank. You can kind of hold on to that. And when you have VP in your bank, you can spend it to increase your goal by an equal amount. So Perpetua, what was your base goal roll for this?
It was 12.
And you're spending 3 to increase it to 15?
Yes.
Okay, that's how it works.
So I succeed with a 13.
It's a good thing you spent those VP.
Yes.
All right. So here's how this is going to go. You know how to get out of this area of town. The squawk comes over. You know where the Evening Star is, right? Because it took you a longer time to walk to this place than it did for them to get to the Evening Star. So the more you spend now is the more that I will have to try and overcome as these guys hunt you as they follow you through this part of New Phoenicia.
Right.
So how many would you like to spend?
Well, I'm going to spend 10
Okay.
because I feel good about that.
That's a good number. That's a really difficult role for me to overcome. All right. So Perpetua starts leading you down these alleys, these twisted. Sometimes you head down, like she kind of like forces you down into like a sewer access for a little bit. You find parts of New Phoenicia that you didn't even know existed, nor did you want to know existed. Sometimes you're scouring up fire escapes to get on top of a building to leap to an area that's sort of like off level.
We have to run through a kitchen.
Oh yeah, of course. They're probably playing some sort of, rock and roll song that kind of moves in time with as you are knocking pots over as they're chasing you. So Cutter, you spent 6 points on your perception roll, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to give you one piece of information. You get to ask me 2 questions for 6 points. While the area surrounding, like kind of the residential area of the Hisparian block that you have seen, there are people there, but they seem to be kind of hiding in the buildings. You can clearly see that there are several large cargo vehicles that you can see kind of coming in and out of that central warehouse area. You also notice 2 flitters kind of coming down from the core spindle down to this area and then flying back. So you get to ask me any 2 questions you want. They have to be, let me rephrase that. You can ask me 2 questions that relate to your perception and observation. This is why I don't say things like this to Richard. Of the Hisparian area. What would you like to know?
Finish my note.
What
So,
is-
you said the flitters were going from
From
somewhere else
course,
down
the
to
core
the
spindle
warehouse.
where the ships are docked.
to the warehouse.
To the warehouses, yes. What would you like to know?
1, how many are following us?
It seems that it's just the 2. And at this point, I rolled my natural 20 for the gang members, so you just hear from behind you, echoing through the alleyways of New Phoenicia. Cutter, I'll get you!
We hate you.
We hate backends.
That was for Richard.
What? So is that good? I mean, you rolled a 20.
So a 20 is bad. My guys can't possibly follow Perpetua's path.
They
So
lost
for
our
us, it's a
trail.
complication.
Yeah.
To
You want to
roll,
get your stat.
to roll under.
That's the best thing you can do. If you roll a 20,
My very first roll in this game was a natural 20.
Nice. Oh,
And we've been paying for it since.
nice.
It's true.
So only 2 following, and what do you think, Perpetua? You have vehicles going into the warehouse, flitters going down to the warehouse.
Runner wants us to meet them at the Evening Star.
So that's where you're leading him.
Okay.
So do you want? He's asking you,
Oh.
what's the other question you want?
What other question do you think we should?
I see. Sorry.
Since you're there, I can't really think of anything else.
The perception was happening while we were running away.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, as we were running away, I noticed these vehicles going in and out of the warehouse. Flitters were flying up and down. I asked how many. From what I can tell, it's only 2 that are following us.
Yeah.
Can you see any of the people loading and unloading things?
Can I see? Yeah.
Yeah, you.
And if so, are any of them wearing, I don't know, like cloaks?
Or do they
Oh,
have
the type of dress?
or what identifying symbols might they be wearing?
All right, so you tell Perpetua that you need to get a good glimpse. So she sort of leads you up on one of those fire escape runs, kind of looking into the city, and you can't see a whole lot. But Runner, you get this one clear view of the person who seems to be overseeing this cutter moving in and out. They turn, and she is a strikingly beautiful woman. That's the first thing you notice. And the second thing is her head is completely shaved, and she has a black she's got that black kind of gate mark on her head, which we can tell you does not feel good.
How do you know?
Because my tattoo artist told me.
Oh, right. Well, I bet you it's Jenna, guys. I bet you it's Jenna. Remember we talked about Jenna? Jenna.
Is it Jenna?
You cannot
I
tell
have a
from this
picture.
distance. Yeah, but you can't tell from this distance. Like,
Maybe I should investigate.
And that was the last we saw of Cutter.
that's right. Mike will be back with a new character
Yeah.
next week.
Right.
All right. So back in the Evening Star, what is the plan?
So he's fighting currently, and he will be in this room.
You don't know what's
Or is-
going on the other side of that door.
Okay.
It was not explicitly said.
No, it wasn't. Okay. We send in Brother Gabriel.
Before we do all that, I'm gonna take out my squawk box, which is a special squawk box, in that it is finer than yours.
Gold case.
It's beautiful. That box.
Do
And I'm
you
gonna
often compare things?
To all the time. I must. It's always better. Always.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna
Compensating for
squawk
something.
out to. I think her name was Perpetua. I can't remember. Well, the smart one with ThinkBox. Can you find us a tactical way to pincer to crush them in between our might? Do you understand what I'm saying? The Evening Star. We are on one side. You are on the other. Must I spell it out? Must I spell it out?
I like how you stumbled over. Is good.
It's good.
Is good.
You understand what I'm saying?
So
So
Perpetua.
yeah, I don't know. You seem like the kind of hacker type that
Oh,
can
yeah.
figure out if you can help us that way.
Perpetua, give me a wits plus survival if you would like to help Alexi.
If you wanna.
If you wanna.
Okay. Again, I'm gonna spend this time, because it's wits, not perception, I'm gonna spend 5 to raise it to 15. I succeed with a 7.
Okay. You for 4, you can kind of like, as you're running, like analyze the maps. And here's the thing, wherever they're at, there is a fighting pit. Like right next door. You and Cutter, if you could get in, you could definitely catch this guy kind of where, based off where Alexi's signal is coming from, it's sort of like the training areas. Or at least that's what is shown on your map. This map that you got, though, there are a lot of red X's on it where it looks like whoever made the map, several of their friends didn't make it out of this area.
Good. Let's avoid those areas.
So yes, so there is a way for you to get in, to get in and kind of come at this training area from both sides.
And if there isn't a door, I can make a door.
Perfect.
All right. Do you have something that allows you to make a door, or no? I'm just kidding.
No, I do.
Just
Can
squawk
opener.
box.
I like
I
a
have a first
mercenary.
can opener, and I have a demo kit, and I have demolitions for military ordnance. So I am practiced in breaching doors
so
and
terrified
walls.
of your new character. It used to be
Is it
where I just,
basically
Well,
just
Cutter,
Mark, the role-playing
he
game?
cuts into things.
This is always what happens when you let Mark make a new character.
I used to just live in fear of Gabriel and Runner, and now I have to add Cutter to that list. All right, so are you guys gonna wait until Perpetua and Cutter sort of get into?
How long is it going to take? Them?
Almost there.
You can hear through Alexi's very fine, very refined, sort of miniaturized
Beautiful.
squawker.
Still agreed.
Yeah,
It's like a razor, Motorola razor.
you can definitely hear Cutter huffing and puffing through the squawk box. They're about 10 minutes out.
He said he's going to be done in about 10 minutes.
Yep.
Oh. So we need to delay this somehow, or because I can't imagine wasting their efforts on the other side of a door just because we're impatient would be good.
We can wait 10 minutes.
I thought you were
By
saying
done,
we'd
do
be
we
done
mean-
in there.
Do we mean he's just like watching a fight?
Perpetual lets you know that he's in the training area. Like he's sort of in the training area.
What is done? Oh,
We lost
he's
you.
practicing.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
They did ask if you wanted to box.
I'm saying I could be your manager.
I think Brother Gabriel would make an excellent distraction.
He'll put on his Don King outfit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do it.
God, what?
I'm gonna strip down to the waist.
Just got really sexy.
I'm gonna still have my wire blade hilt concealed
Okay.
in my somewhere.
If these are the prayer, is that like the bookmark?
Yeah, and then I'll
Alexi,
go.
how are you transforming into his manager?
Oh yeah, well I imagine when I go in that I'll be able to pick. Imagine I'll be able to pick him out, but if I can't, even if he's on the sidelines, I would like to insult him so viciously that he will have to demand satisfaction in whatever. This will be my second.
All right, so Gabriel's gonna walk in the door, drop, do a couple of one-handed push-ups, stand up, roll his neck, and generally I'm looking hotter than a well-ventilated thurible.
Right. Hotter than a halter top.
Well, I'm definitely giving you a weird point. One for using, just for that. All right, as the door opens, you can see that there is an entourage, they're kind of waiting in this waiting area. There is an Urukar. So if the Uroban are sort of the refined psionic Ur race, the Urukar are sort of more of the brutal split of that bloodline. You can see in Urukar there are 4. They look to be the kind of people that, I don't know, you'd put in a metal can and shoot out of one ship into another ship to kill everyone on that other ship. And you can see kind of beyond that, there is another door with a light, and it's just more of a portal. You can see Boris, who, Runner, I assume you've shared the pictures. He is currently sparring with 3 automatons. They're kind of mounted on the wall, but they are moving fast. And we're going to stop there for tonight because it is 8:20, and we normally stop around 8:30, and I don't want to get into a combat scene if that is where this is going.
Combat?
Maybe. I'm going to viciously mock this person.
You do. I regretted giving you the vicious
We want to talk to him
insult
about the pan
talent.
creator.
Vicious insult, yes.
What was that, Mark?
Even if
We want to talk to him about the pan creator.
That's right. Do you have a moment to talk about the Lord? So we're going to end here tonight. Did you guys have fun?
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Start of the new
Always
arc.
do.
Welcome to Curse of the Abandoned, Part 1. Bob, thanks for joining us. Will we be able to
That's fine.
hopefully see Alexi next week?
Maybe. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about
All
it
right.
offline. Is it every day a week? Is it every week?
It is every week.
Let me check with one thing.
We will-
and
we
then
will
I'll be able
chat.
to come back to you.
Thank you for joining us tonight, Bob, our special guest who got them into the Evening Star. Again, you can follow him on Mr. Bob Crumb on Twitter. And from there, you can find him basically everywhere in the internet. He has spread throughout the internet.
I'm a vicious, yes. Okay.
You can check out more great Ulysses shows. I mean, Ulysses International. We do Torg on Tuesdays. We do Fading Suns here. You can, if you enjoy hearing the dulcet tones of my voice, you can tune in Thursday afternoons. Ross and I do Myth Campfire Chats. We are designing the Myth role-playing game, and we are talking a lot about the system and the setting. Ulysses Worlds talks about all of the other great games that is going on. I know Robert is doing shows about the Dark Eye, about Aventuria, about I mean, there's just a ton of great games that Ulysses produce, and we're producing a lot of content. You can find us here on Twitch. You can find us on YouTube. You can follow the individual games or Ulysses on Twitter. And yeah, we'll be back next week with more Fading Suns. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, as always, for playing. I thoroughly enjoy running games for you all. And Bob, thanks for being our special guest.
Fun.
We will see
It's
you
fun.
in a week. Bye.